God for this opportunity to study about this wonderful creature through this honor. Butterflies, along with moths and some of the scrippers, they make up the group called as insect, and they come under the order Lepidoptera. And we can see this butterfly everywhere except Antarctica, where the condition is very cold for them to survive. Like birds only, these butterflies also, they all live together, and they go like birds only. They have the characteristics of birds, like when they travel from one place to another place, they shift their living place also. Whenever they go, they're migrating, they don't go alone, but go with the group and find food and water, and for their living, whatever things they need, they all do it in a group. But there are some exceptional butterflies like monarch butterflies. What they do, they don't go together. What they do, they like to be alone, and they go away from the group and travel alone. That is exceptional. But generally the butterflies, they live together as a family and survive. Male and female butterflies, they come together to reproduce. And the first thing what we are going to learn is how can we differentiate moth and butterflies. So when we see this insect in a garden or in a forest or somewhere, how to determine whether it is a moth or a butterfly. So generally everybody likes butterfly. So when we spot these creatures, we like to go and touch them or catch them and bring them home and show it to others or preserve it. All these activities we'll be doing. So when you spot this insect, how will you know whether you have caught a moth or a butterfly? So first thing is the wings. How does it rest when these wings are opened or closed? So when the wings are open, when they're resting, it is the moth. Butterfly generally they close the wings and they rest on the surface. So you can see at the left it is a zodiac moth, and here you can see the monarch butterfly. This monarch butterfly is very common. I hope everybody would have spotted this monarch butterfly generally in your gardens. So first, when you see, when it is resting on any surface, when it is opened, the wing is opened, means it is a moth. If the wing is closed, it is a butterfly. Then generally in the daytime, whenever you see this insect, they are butterflies. In the night time, if you see any of these kind of insects, it is a moth. So moths are generally nocturnal, and butterflies are, they are during the daytime only, they'll be active. And when we see the antennas, the shape of the antennas, these are the structure which is situated on the head. The function of this antenna is to feel the place where they have gone and to smell. So when you see this antenna of moth, it will be spear in shape, but butterfly, if you see, it will be a little longer and there will be a bulb shaped at the end of the antenna. So these two things you can identify when you catch the insect. So for moth, the antenna will be spear shaped and it will be sharp, and butterfly antenna will be long, thin, and it will have a bulb shape. Then next is frenulum. Okay, the frenulum is very tiny observation. Most probably many people would not understand this. So this frenulum is a coupling device which ensures that both the wings are traveling, both the wings travel together during the flights. Moth only has a structure and butterfly doesn't have this. So when they are moving, both the wings should be traveling together. So to keep that intact, this structure is found, and this structure is only found in moth. We can see the frenulum, which I have marked over here. And next is the cocoons. So during the metamorphism of the caterpillars from caterpillar to butterfly, the caterpillar, what it does after it is grown to a certain size, okay, after a certain size where it will not be able to eat anymore. So what it does, it goes to a resting stage. During that resting stage, what it does, it makes a covering around it. It makes a covering around it, and the pupa consisting of butterfly will have protein covering, and this moth caterpillar will make a silk pupa. So that is called as cocoon. And there are some exceptional again over here, like gypsy moths. Gypsy moths, they resemble just like a butterfly. And here one more butterfly, Parnassus, it resembles the cocoon. Okay, so these two exceptionals are there, but when you generally see, butterflies will make its covering of protein, and this moth caterpillar, they make a silk pupa, that is called as cocoon. Next is the appearance also, the hairy structure which is on the insects. So when you see a moth, this hairy structures will be little longer, feathery type, like appearance for moth. So when you take a butterfly, these are very small. Okay, these are nothing but the scales which are present on the insects. So you can find the difference that small scales are present on butterflies, and moth, it looks like a brush type, like this, little longer. This difference you can see when you observe the insects. So when you see about this eyes, so generally you know that the moths are very active during night time only. So though those insects, they don't need about the colors or image, only they need the size of it. So what they do, they have a superposition eyes. They reflect the light at the same angle when they are taking in. So this creates a enlarging of the image which they are seeing. Okay, so in dark, when they're observing an object, they want to see it in a bigger proportion. So it increases about 100 times. So when it observes, but when you come to butterfly, it has a opposition eyes. What they do, they gather the multiple images what they are observing, and they combine them in the brain, and they get the bright images. Next, when you see the insect, you want to differentiate between butterflies and moth. Generally, butterflies, they have vibrant colors, and moth, when you see, they don't have any much bright colors. They are little dusky, and they are not that striking to your eyes. They will not be that striking to eyes. Like it will be like a rock color or a tree trunk color, like that it will be. So in this also you can differentiate that this is butterfly or moth. Next, when you see the eggs, moth eggs are round, okay, and when you see the butterfly eggs, they are cylindrical nature, and you can see the difference over here. I have given the lobster moth egg and the white butterfly eggs. So these butterflies, they're very caring butterflies. What they do, they don't lay the eggs anywhere they want. They will see that they're laying the eggs on the leaves itself. Only where there is green leaves, they will start laying the eggs. This idea is when the eggs hatches, larva, okay, they need something to eat immediately. When the eggs are hatched, immediately the larva should eat something. So what it does, it gives a surface of a leaf so that immediately after coming out, it starts eating and starts converting its lifestyle from one stage to the other stage. So some of the definitions we'll see, like antenna. What is the antenna? Antenna is a feeler on the insect's head that help it feel and smell. Cocoon, it's a case around the pupa of some moths, usually made of silk. And pupa is a stage of an insect life cycle when it is changing from caterpillar into a adult. So what is larva? The stage of an insect life cycle just after hatching from its egg. And chrysalis is, it's a stiff case around the pupa of a butterfly. So when you see a insect, these things you can recall, and if you see these kind of structures, you can understand whether this is a whether it's going to be a moth or it's going to be a butterfly. The stages also you can see and differentiate whether the insect is going to be a butterfly or a moth. And how to differentiate the cocoons and chrysalis of these insects. You can see the moth's cocoon looks, this is very common structure. I hope everybody would have noticed this in your home. It will be on the ceilings at the corner of the home, you can say. And butterfly chrysalises, it's always found on the plants. And this butterfly will not hatch inside the home. So this much you can differentiate, and the structure is also different. So one more important thing is, when you hold a butterfly on your hand, on your palm, you can feel some powdery thing which sticks to your hand. So these are nothing but the chitins. Okay, they are the tiny scales which gives the color to the wings. The tiny scales which gives colors to the wing. And these scales are so small that they appear as powder. So when you take this on your hand and hold the wings, what will happen? This powders will come out from the wing. So the major function of this scale is to keep the insect warm. So in turn, for game or some adventure, what we do, we hold this butterfly. We want to take the color on our hand. So what happens? We are killing that insect. After the powder has come out of the butterfly, what will happen? Within few hours, it will die. So whenever you spot a butterfly, you admire the color, but never touch it or rub the scale on your hand. You can hold it and leave it off, but never take them and rub it on your palm. It is indirectly killing the insect intentionally. Okay. And we'll see some of the harmful moths which we can spot. Few more insects I'll tell you, like pus moth. These moths, they are found in the garden regions, in forest or region. Like it is not found in the domestic area. It will be found only in the garden area and the forest area. This is called as the pus moth. And this pus moth, during the caterpillar stage, what they do, they deliver a very severe sting. So these symptoms, they very painful. They will be for few minutes or for hours together. It might even last for several days. So sometimes we'll not know what happened to me. where did I get this sting? You will not understand. But these caterpillars, when we are moving around some plants, you will get into the sting and you will get infected. And this is the next moth, that is moth. So this also during the caterpillar stage, what they do, they also give a painful sting. It will burn like a fire on your skin. So when you come across this caterpillar in the garden, so it's very important that you are wearing your gun boots or you're wearing socks. You should be very careful that you're not wearing your long dresses. Always wear some pants or something, and be careful that you're not coming across these kind of moths in the garden. There is one more moth, that is oak processionary moth. So they have a hairy kind of structure during the caterpillar stage. They can create airborne effects. So these hairs irritate the touch of the skin. Okay, so when it touches the skin, so you can see the inflammation on the skin. It's like allergic, which happens. So the inflammation is getting spreaded all over the body. Even if you inhale this hair, which is in the air, you will get allergic reactions. So these moths are a bit harmful for us. And this is the harmful house moth. This moth you can see at home. It's very common moth. I have seen it. Like, it is a vampire moth. They call it as a vampire moth. So this moths have the ability to drink blood. They have a proboscis. Okay, apart from the antenna, there is one more tube-like structure which is at the center of the mouth. You can see one tube which is coming out of the mouth. This proboscis, what they do, they insert inside the skin of the vertebrae. Okay, not only human beings, even the animals also get this kind of sting through this moths. So they start drinking the blood, and they create a insertion also. So it is very harmful for us. So whenever you find this kind of moth, immediately you can get rid of this moth from the home. And by studying this honor, okay, by studying this honor, we can study a few things about God's love towards us. So during the lifestyle of butterfly, okay, so you can analyze each stage is not having any similarity. The conversion of egg to butterfly, the last adult stage, it is called as metamorphosis. So each stage doesn't have any similarity. Okay, so when we take human being, the baby will be growing, only the facial expression will be changing, but eyes and legs, everything will be same only. 2 eyes, 2 legs, it will have a head, everything will be same. Okay, so there is a similarity in our growth, but in butterfly there is a specific thing. The metamorphosis doesn't have any similarity in any of the stage. So here we can see that few butterflies, they live for months, and they live very short lifespan they have, and from species to species. And you can see the brimstone butterfly, they live for 13 months. So here there are different stages. First, the caterpillar. You can see the first structure over here, the figure over here, that is a caterpillar. That is after the egg is hatched. So this caterpillar will start eating all the greeneries which is present nearby. So keep on eating until the skin of the outer covering of the caterpillar is enough to expand. So when maximum expansion of the caterpillar is attained, it will keep on eating the leaves wherever it finds. It keeps on moving from place to place, keep on having the leaves. So when the outer covering of the caterpillar is completely covered, completely grown, no place for it to eat anymore, then what it does, it goes and sticks to a stick, okay, or a twig on a plant and starts hanging down in a J manner. We can see it is hanging in a J manner. Okay, after hanging like a J manner, what happens? That is its hibernation. It starts its eating and starts becoming quiet over there. It will stay for some time without doing any activity. So after hanging for few hours, it starts building up its covering. It goes into a dark place that is covering around its body. That is called as chrysalis. So it starts putting out the protein out of its mouth and spins around its body to make a chrysalis. So this stage stays for few days, and after few days, what happens? Within that chrysalis, that covering, what happens? It starts developing its structure, the wings, the antennas, the proboscis, and the legs, and each and everything, abdomen, the color, that is the scales, in each and everything is developed silently inside the chrysalis. That is the covering of the larva. So after a few days, what happens? The butterfly starts emerging outside. It starts breaking out the larva and it flutters outside with wings open. So there are different stages where the caterpillar converts into a butterfly. So from this, what we are studying is two things we can study. Here, we as a human being, when we are born, we don't get any bad environment. Okay, so our parents give us the best environment, the best environment for us. So when we are hatched out, when we come out, we get a very good welcome from our parents. We start growing luxuriously according to the ability of our parents. We start growing well. Our parents take care of us. So what we do, we start growing and forgetting things in our life, start having everything in our life, whatever we want to have in our life, until we get exhausted with all our wishes, until we get exhausted. So then after that, what happens? We'll just get exhausted and tired of our life and we'll sit quiet. We'll think that there is no meaning in my life. We want to isolate ourselves. So what we do, we start covering ourselves. We start covering ourselves means we want to be isolated from everyone. We put ourselves into some dark region. We don't want to talk to anyone. So we'll go into a very dark place, like no one could see you. You will become invisible to anyone. So when you are into that dark place, sitting inside, thinking that I am not useful to anyone, I have wasted my life, my sins are so heavy, I cannot live anymore. So in that dark place, Jesus visits us. Jesus visits our heart. He talks to us and he tells, you are sacred. You have a word. You have a salvation through Jesus Christ. You can have a new life. You can have a new life. You can have colorful life. So Jesus turns our life into colorful butterflies. He gives us confidence. He gives us a hope in our life. So when we search God in the darkness, you get a light. You get the light to turn to God and to flutter our wings, to say to this world that I have got a new life. So we are dead in Christ. We went into the darkness. We were dead, but when Christ visited us, we got the light and we came out of it and we got a new life. So it is like dead in Christ and we resurrected in Christ. So this lesson we can have in our hearts and have a hope that through this butterfly, we can understand that we are never left alone. We are not in darkness. The word of God is our light and Jesus is our light, and we can come up with colorful talents when we come out of our depressions or any other things which is troubling us. So let us thank God for this creature. And how can we attract these butterflies? You like butterflies, right? So if you want these butterflies to be around your home, what you can do, you can grow few plants like lantana, like lavender and marigold. These kind of plants, if you have in your balcony or in your garden, butterflies will get attracted, and you can have these butterflies around you. I can tell you about few beautiful butterflies which are there in the environment. This is the Monarch Butterfly. I hope everybody would have seen it. See the larva also, and the adult which has been portrayed over here. So these are not that friendly, okay? And they also have toxins in them. So be careful when you play with these kind of butterflies. All the butterflies are not like friendly. So be away from them. Enjoy the color and leave it there only. Next is, this is a very beautiful butterfly which you have observed. See the colors they have, and they are wonderful butterfly, but you know, they have the venomous spines. They'll have the venomous spines when they are in caterpillar stage. So it is quite dangerous for us to deal with these kind of butterflies in and around. And you can see the zebra long wing butterfly. These are also not that friendly. They also have the toxins which will spoil our reproductive systems. The pollens which are being carried by these caterpillars, you know, they cause a lot of issues for the human beings. Generally, they affect the reproductive systems. Then we can see the pipe vine swallowtail butterfly. Okay, so these also, they have this toxins carried in them. So it is quite not friendly for us. So you have to be very careful, because these butterflies, they sit on different plants. They will be taking the nectars, the food from different kind of birds, plants which are having high secondary metabolites. So these high secondary metabolites are not good for us, for human beings. So it is very good that we get away from these butterflies. Just observe and go away. And this is a postman butterfly. And this postman butterfly, you know what it does? It gives some odor. It is called as a postman butterfly. It gives of the foul odor. You will not be comfortable with the smell which it gives out. So this is also not friendly for us. And this is another kind of butterflies. Generally, they are found in forests. So they are beautiful, but not friendly to us. This is the Atala butterfly. They also carry the toxins in their body. And this is the Indian crow butterflies. This is the Indian crow butterfly. What they do is they expel the toxic liquid. So when somebody comes nearby and they want to touch this butterfly, means they'll give out some toxic liquids. So this also will create issues. So, and you can see the largest butterfly. This is one of the most largest butterfly you can see anywhere in the Asian regions and Australian region. And they also have the ability to make the person completely sick and they go to an extent that that sickness will kill them only. So it is quite dangerous. So whenever you spot this kind of butterflies, observe them and leave them alone. So these are all different moths you can see. I hope. So when you spot these kind of moths, you can take a picture of it. And if you want to make like you want to collect these butterflies and you want to make a collection of it, means what you have to do is first you have to choose these butterflies. Be careful that you are not touching them with the bare hands or taking up those scales on your hand. Generally, these butterflies, after they become adult, they are not that toxic. Only during the caterpillar stage, they are toxic. Okay. So you have identified, then you mount them. Then you can relax the butterfly with pins. You can see it. You have a thermocol. You make a frame of it. Don't try to disturb the scales on the wings. So you can have a pin and pin it to the thermocol. So you can make a beautiful frame at your home. And to preserve it, you might use some more naphthalene balls. You can put some naphthalene balls so that you can preserve these butterflies, or you can present these butterflies to others. Or when you want to take some talk, you can have these different types of butterflies at your place and have a good discussion. So hope I have given you a good idea about the butterflies. Thank you for your patience.